Hello, good evening. I am Nayan here to speak on this topic as project-based questions and responses. Okay, so here are some questions related to my project. So I made a loan application. Okay, so let us start with the first question. What is the scope of the project and why did you choose the same? Okay, so the scope of the project is a full stack loan application system that enables a user to register, apply for a loan, upload KYC document and view the repayment schedules and receive a notification. Admins can manage the user, approve, reject loan applications, monitor analytics dashboard, and review audits log. Uh, why this scope? Because this was chosen to stimulate a real-world banking workflow and encompassing both the user and the admin perspective, it demonstrates a practical skills like authentication, role-based access control, dynamic form handling, data visualization, and the responsive UI UX design. And core requirement is an enterprise-grade application. Most challenging technical problem did you, how can you resolve? Okay, the second question. Okay. The challenges I can say that implementing the real-time analytics and the audit log signed with the backend activity. So while keeping the UI responsive and error-free, so the resolution I get is use the React Contest API for a centralized and efficient state management. Second, optimize the API calls using async and await and implemented a loading state with an error notification via snack bar. Third, created a dedicated backend endpoint for our audit logs and the analytics to ensure the paginated and the shorted responses to reduce the front-end loads. So third question, what is the specific technology did you use and why? Okay. So for the front end, I use React, Material UI, Recharts, Context API, Axios for the API, and why? Because React for the SPA architecture and MUI for the ready-to-use responsive component, Recharts for the data visualization, Context API for a scalable state, and Axios for a promise-based HTTP request. Okay, and for the backend, I have used Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, MongoDB Atlas, and Mongoose, and JWT, and a JSON Web Token. Because Node.js and Express for a scalable and the fast API, and MongoDB for a flexible schema handling, and Mongoose for a ORM convenience, and JW for a secure and stateless authentication. Deployment for the front end, I have used a Vercel and render for the backend. Because it is easy for a CI and DI, CD, automatic deployments and a free cider for a MVP and a demos. Fourth, uh, performance issue and how did you address them? Okay, the dashboard loading time was high due to multiple stimulus API calls and a large payload. The solution I have get it is added a paginated to all the data heavy view and use a use memo and a use callback for a extensive computation. Updated a API endpoint to return only a required field. Reduces the network load with a conditional fetching and debouncing. Fifth question, critical decision and impacted the project. Okay. So the decision switching from the mock data to a live backend integration for a analytics and the audit log section. So it impacted us that this significantly improved the realism and complexity of the application and showcasing a proficiency in a full stack integration, error handling, and a data consistency. Six, version control and the collaborations. Okay. So I use Git and GitHub throughout the project. The feature branches for a modular development, pull request with a code reviews, manage the task by using a GitHub issue, and emphasize the readable commits and the version tag for a release. Uh, Seventh question trade-offs and prioritization. Okay, trade-offs. Choose to focus on a core feature like authentication, loan workflow, and analytic rather than advanced topic like a service workers, PWA support, or a full test coverage due to a time constraint. Prioritization strategy as focused on the feature that demonstrate a business logic and the technical depth. Ensure a stable deployment and the real world simulation over adding a niche features. Eight uh, feedback received and implementation. Okay, the feedback they improving the UI UX for a dark mode and the mobile responsive, and added a real-time notification for the user and the admin actions. And the implementation, refactor the team using a MUI material UI theme provider and the editor dark mode toggle, and added a snack bar based on the notification system and optional bell icon in a notification center. Ninth, what would you do differently if starting over? Defining the API contract before starting a front-end and back-end integration. Using a TypeScript from a day one for a better developer experience and a type safety. Integrated automated tested earlier in the process than just Postman test. I have used the Postman test and all the backend I have tested and modify the control service and the route for a better maintainability. Okay. So designing in the architect. Okay. So first explaining the architecture and why it was designed this way. The front end SPA built using a React, context API for the global state, MUI for the consistent UI design, and Recharts for the visual analytics. For the backend REST API using a Express.js, MongoDB Atlas with a Mongoose for a schema and a data instruction, JWT for a secure token-based authentication. And why we have used this architecture ensure the clear separation of a concern, scalability, and the ease of a team collaboration. The SPA ensures the smooth navigation, and the REST API makes the backend reusable and the testable. Second, did you ensure the scalability and the security? Uh, Scalability as stateless RESTful APIs. Second, modular and the layered backend structure. Third, scalable DBN using a MongoDB Atlas. And for the security, we have used JWT based on the authentication and the role check, input sanitization and the validation, post setup for appropriate headers, rate limiting for the protects the route, third collaboration and the conflict resolution as we have used the GitHub branches and the PR for all the features and communicated via GitHub and issues and inline PR comments like UI layout disagreements resolved by the prototyping for the variant and choosing based on the feedback and the simplicity. Fourth, incorporating a feedback from the other as example as after receiving a peer and the mentor feedback about the admin dashboard visually clarity, so I added a summary metrics card, total loans approved, default rate, etc. Features I have improved and improved the chart interactivity, hover, tooltip, legend, color coding, restructure the layout using a MUI responsive grid system. Thank you.